Okay, so we are about to start the class on leadership and governance using Niccolò Machiavelli. Okay, you can continue now, please.
Okay, good morning. I'll be treating Niccolò Machiavelli and his thoughts, his philosophy, his key work, and views on leadership and governance. That will be what we will be discussing this morning. And I want us to have an interactive class. Let's pay attention so we can interact. It's actually a class that we all have to learn from each other. Even though I'm like the facilitator now, I'm presenting this topic. Let's also contribute and learn from each other. So moving on, who was Machiavelli? Who was Machiavelli? Niccolò Machiavelli was an Italian diplomat, philosopher, and political theorist born in Florence. He is considered the father of modern political science. Living during the turbulent Renaissance period, his experiences shaped his pragmatic views on power and governance. What I just read out now is just an introduction of who Machiavelli is. He's considered the father of modern political science. That means he shaped the modern political thoughts that we have today. Most of the political science ideas and thoughts that we have today he shaped it. He's the person that shaped it. Most of the concepts that he propounded is what we use today in political science across the world, not just in one continent or one place, but across the entire world. That shows how relevant his philosophy was and still is, even in today's political dispensation. So Niccolò Machiavelli is a very important figure that shaped political thought and that is still relevant in our world today. So he's a personality that we cannot brush aside, especially when we're talking about philosophy and politics. Is that personality that we cannot just shove aside or forget easily. So moving on, his philosophy. What philosophy did he propounded that shaped the world and the political space as we have it today? Machiavelli separated politics from ethics. Promoting a realistic view of political power. Machiavelli is a realist. He is not an idealist, he's a realist. He argued that rulers must sometimes use immoral methods to maintain stability and control. He emphasized that the end often justify the means, a view now termed Machiavellianism. So if I would ask us, what's his major philosophy here is that we all could remember today, or we all remember today, is the end justifies the means. I want to throw the question to us. What does that mean to, what do we think he meant by this? Let us kind of have an interactive class. Let's know if we really understand what this means. So I don't know if anyone has any answer to this. Let's share.
What matters is the result, not the process of getting to the result.
Okay.
What matters is the result. So when you get the result, then the way you get to the result.
Okay, so the result is always what is important, not how you get. You can get it anyhow you like or any method you use. Okay, that is that for Akalo. Somebody else, does anybody have any idea of what this means? The end justifies the means. Chidi, please, can you help us? I want to say something. This is an interactive class.
Okay. Sure. The end justified.
Yes. According to Machiavelli.
I don't understand how much.
Please, can you?
In this concept, the process that you use in achieving whatever thing you want to achieve does not necessarily matter. What matters is the ending product, like what did you achieve? That's what matters.
Okay.
The way and the manner you did it to achieve it doesn't count. What counts is the result.
Okay, that is what your own understanding means. But don't you think this idea or philosophy is questionable? Don't you think it's something that is not really, like most people would question and say, how can you say the process which you get something doesn't matter? Like what matters is how you get it. Don't you think that it's not something that is really moral in our today's society?
This way, I think, for me, it's based on individual differences. It's like based on individual. It doesn't matter. As you said, that most people will ask question. For me personally,
Most people criticizes this. There's serious criticism for this philosophy.
no need to maybe ask question how do you achieve what.
So for you can do anything to achieve.
Yeah, for you to achieve what.
If you are talking about
That suits you, for you to get whatever thing you want.
So if it means for you individually, if it means betraying somebody to get to a particular goal, you are ready to do it. It doesn't even matter if. Yeah, that is what you think.
No, it depends on the situation.
Excuse me.
It depends on the situation of the ground.
Excuse me.
Okay.
First of all, I will answer the question first, and then I will see what happens. Talking about governance, talking about democracy and competitive communities. So now, in this context, we are not talking about democracy. You understand? Democracy will criticize this, while democratism will not criticize it. You understand? But to me, there is no true democracy. Every government, every leader should have an outcome of this. Sometimes people's opinion doesn't matter as long as you know that what you want to do is the right thing, and if you do it, it will give you a good result that will benefit everyone. You understand? But sometimes it might be personal, but as long as as a leader and where you're going is, you know that this is going to give you a good result. Sometimes people's opinion or your fellows' opinion doesn't really matter. You understand? Then this is my first
let me
question.
come up a little bit. You see, the problem we are having when we are not well read as Africans, we misuse words and misuse situations. As most of you are doing master's degree, you have to understand the way, the ruggedness and the time spent by those who do it in US, do it in Europe. I don't think it's the same kind of approach. That is why when you see them, psychologically we think they are better than us. So that is exactly what we are speaking in Thailand. This thing we are doing here, believe it or not, we won't stand anybody anywhere. Why? This question is about why. What do you think? What I'm going to say about the end justifies the means. Now, from what actually this said, from what else, you guys are already living the topic, but not knowing. It's not about opinion. The concept of opinion, just as I say, whatever it does not, is not the issue here. The let all of you just be fair to yourself. And as much as we struggle in this country for visa, for money, I bet you most of you are empty-handed. What do you call it? Empty-headed. Is it correct?
Yeah.
Dunderhead. Some people call it dunderhead. Because you just use this thing for visa, you use it to struggle, and you say you're doing master's degree. Whenever a question is asked, make sure the concept is not deviated because they're not the same. The end justifies the means. Just like I said, argue that rulers must come and use immoral methods to maintain stability and control. You have to think deeply. What does it mean by immoral? Before you begin to bring in this emotional African nonsense or whatever we have in our baggages, and then by that time you now deviate from the entire logic. Just I want you guys to be aware of that. And this is what happens, and this is philosophy. The area that somebody like us, first degree, master's degree, PhD. So when sometimes we may be talking, I just manage to control myself because sometimes we can get off the track based on concepts. You see? We just like using Igbo to translate English. Sometimes it doesn't work. Or using a Thai to translate English. You see that they are not the same. Okay, continue.
Okay. In this concept, I think the leaders sometimes use the immoral method.
Can you give an example of what you mean by immoral method that leaders use?
Okay.
First of all, if you want to be a master's degree thinker, before you jump into a comment, especially when you philosophy, ask what? Or ask this person, what do you mean by immoral?
Okay,
According to this man.
Okay.
Because if you don't know the foundation,
Yes.
you still talking like normal African emotional nonsense we are used to.
No, I'm not using emotional.
No, I'm talking generally. I'm not talking about you. Generally. So when he argued that rulers must sometimes use immoral method, the question is, of course, you know what is immoral. But then let us ask this presenter. Can you help us? Yeah. Can you tell us what you mean by immoral method according to this man's philosophy? So based on that, you now begin to shoot out. Otherwise, maybe shooting yourself, thinking you're saying something.
Wait. Okay. Immoral is, according to Machiavelli's theory, first of all, you have to know what is moral before you know what is immoral. You understand? So morality here has to do with personal principles or compass that guides your actions, as a person. That is what morality means. Your individual principles that guides whatever you do. So
it's explained.
So then that is what morality is. Then immorality now is when your personal principles, you go against it. Like you are doing everything you're doing is screaming no to you, but you're going against it. That is what immorality means in this aspect.
Okay, now in other words, from every implication, your presentation of immorality here is not his own position of immorality.
Yes, it's different. That's why.
You see that?
Yeah, because for me,
Machiavelli, by the way, can you finish this presentation? Because since you started asking questions, then are you done?
No.
You better continue because otherwise I can't live today.
Okay.
Because this is a very sensitive man that you cannot just use normal. The morality you cited looks as if what he said, but that's not his own morality. Because his own morality is just like. His own concept of morality is like a bulldozer. You see? This guy is after my office. And I have to do everything to make sure he's expired and say I'm university. You see his morality. Because it is my duty to make sure I eliminate him before he eliminates me. And I will do it in such a way as if I am a good person, because I'm going to be actually clear and known by everybody. when I was doing it.
Okay.
That for him that is moral, because you have to have that as a leader in order to lead. Just get, because if you understood his philosophy, then you understand the result. That's where the end justifies the means. So he sees the fact that I eliminated Carl from attempting to tread into my office, step into my work. You know how many years I've been in this university, and this nonsense guy will come here and threaten me. I will just make sure I plot everything to make sure that whether he studies, in fact, immigration comes or not, and he's done the following day and takes him home. And why I should do that, so that he will not get rid of me, preventing others that are supposed to have benefited from me. Are you getting there? So morality for this man is exactly this.
Okay, so let's continue. Then afterwards you.
Yeah, I think because it's a hot.
Okay.
Let's finish. Then we come back. Because he started to seek for our input, but the man input is a very complex person. So maybe when you finish, we know we are into input instead of, otherwise you will not live here until 4 p.m.
Alright, so his key work is The Prince, which he published in 1513. It's a guide for rulers on acquiring and maintaining power. That is what the work is all about. The book, The Prince, is a guide for rulers on acquiring and maintaining power. It's not just to acquire power, but also maintain it. It's one thing to acquire power, it's another thing to maintain the power that you've acquired. So Machiavelli wrote a book in that regard to teach leaders how to acquire, first of all, and then maintain that power. So the notable ideas in that book is.
I just want it, sorry, because this man is very, like corny as he is, his idea, also like that. But I want to be using examples so that you guys will be getting it. Because from every indication, when you guys read all these philosophers, you read this peripherically. I didn't survive in this university just for a joke. Simply because my field is philosophy and psychology. I easily dictate. I don't know who likes me or who doesn't. I know who likes me because of what he gains from me, and I know who doesn't. And I know who is at the negative. It's a guess, it's a speculation. But whether I like it or not, that's not me. Because that is all about life. Okay. Now look at, when you read this, I want you to begin to see his morality. Are you guys there? Begin to associate his morality. Better to be feared than loved, and that is morality. A ruler must be both cunning and strong. Yeah.
At the same time.
And whether you like it or not, after reading this man, go to YouTube, read him again. Then you start behaving. You must have to embrace him because the world is so something else. It's very easy as a student to say, this man is like this, or as a Christian. Come on, my dear, all of you sitting here are very selfish. I am very selfish. Everybody is going to his own place. Without this concept of this kind of a man, people will come and do whatever they want with you, just for their own interest. Imagine if, for example, let me use myself as an example. You were here in NBA, many years, and you came back, and you still met me here, right? During the time, whatever, and you still met me here. You just said you finished BBA here, and you still met me, you are only me yesterday. The question remains, what makes you think I'm not going to here with stories and whatever, unimaginable ones? And why am I still here? Why did you still meet me? Just use it, not about me, about yourself, so that you'll be successful in life. People come around you with so many packages, unthinkable, unimaginable. In fact, they hate you because you're very strong to maintain your stand. Majority of them. You can only see few people, maybe from family upbringing, that can now believe in 50-50. Yeah, this guy is this is his office. He's doing whatever I want. This is me. I'm doing whatever I want. Just 50, but majority just come and shop. They shop you and shop you out. This is what happens in the world. And the only way, I bet you, appear vicious, When you want to deal with somebody, remember you don't need to show. Because most people don't show when they deal with you. I know many people, many students are in front of me, they praise me. But at the back, I hear what they say. So they are using this also. Appear vicious, even if not. As if they're very good. And then prioritize stability over morality. Stability over morality, what does that mean? It's simply meaning that you are doing a business. What matters is your business stable. Otherwise, you have employed people who are there chopping you, and then at the end of the day, you become a beggar. I mean, I'm sure you guys don't understand this man. If you want to understand, read it very well. Machiavelli. And even in history, how he got to this. Because he was, just as he read diplomat. I mean, come on. If you guys read this philosopher very well, you understand. He was dealt with. Because he was supporting a particular fashion in France and in Italy. And he was dealt with. And because he was dealt with, he started supporting, he's just a politician, normal politician. All these things he's saying is from his experience. Please continue.
Okay, so all these ideas that he brought or he propounded is what the guide he gave, he's teaching to leaders to use when necessary, when they need to acquire and maintain power. So notable ideas are better to be feared than loved, just like Prof has explained. A ruler must be both cunning and strong. So in order for you to survive as a leader, you have to, according to Machiavelli, you have to be both cunning, and strong at the same time. You have to appear virtuous even if you are not. You have to put up an appearance to be of virtuousness, even if you are not virtuous. The goal is to get and to maintain that power as a leader. Prioritize stability over morality. That is where the end justifies the means also plays in. You understand? Your stability is what should be your priority over morality, over what is generally accepted by the people or what is generally accepted by everybody. The stability of your country, the stability of your family, the stability of your business, the stability of whatever you are doing, of your office, of your job, should be your priority over morality or over what anybody thinks. That is according to Machiavelli. Then his views on leadership is what we are looking next. Machiavelli saw leadership as a practical endeavor. According to him, a good leader is not one that is not one who is effective, but also necessarily a good leader is a leader that is effective, but also that is effective, but not necessarily moral. His key views on leadership is that the ruler's goal is to secure and stabilize the state. To secure and stabilize it, and how he does it is not what matters, but the goal, to achieve that goal. Then politics is about reality, not ideals, according to Machiavelli. It's about the reality on ground, not about ideals. It should be about how people really behave and not about how they should behave. How they behave. It's not really about how they should behave. It's about how the people behave. Like what the people's behavior should. You should see people's behavior for what it is. When people behave around you as a leader, you should see that behavior exactly how it is. Don't assume, don't make assumptions. See it for what it is. That is, it's about reality and not about ideals. Leaders must adapt and use any necessary means. Leaders must adapt and use any necessary means to achieve their goal. Any means at all. Whether the world is crying that this is wrong, this is immoral, it doesn't matter. Leaders should adopt any necessary means to achieve their goal. Effectiveness over ethics. effectiveness over ethics. You know, leaders, according to Machiavelli, a leader should prioritize the results over general belief of people. That is ethics or principle that governs a particular organization. As a leader, that shouldn't be your concern. That principle shouldn't be your concern. Your concern is, how am I going to get my goal? How am I going to achieve my goal in this position I am as a leader? So whatever anybody says, whatever anybody thinks, it doesn't matter. We can see what is happening in the world today. So many countries practice this Machiavellian principles. So many countries in the world. For example, Israel. Israel is one of the countries that comes to mind when you think about Machiavellian principles. Israel wants to survive. No matter, they will do anything in this world to survive. They will do anything, even if the world is crying that they are killing people in Gaza, they are doing this, they are causing blockade. They don't care. What they care about is their survival, according to them. So you can see that an element of Machiavellian principle in their actions. The actions of Israel. Even the US does practice this, like they practice it very well as well. They do anything to maintain their status quo, to maintain their power as a global leader. They can do anything. Nothing stops them. No morality, no moral code stops countries like the US to do whatever they want to do. No morality on earth stops them. As long as this goal advance their power, their stronghold as a global power, they will do it. So the countries like the US practice Machiavellian principles. Like it comes to mind when you think of countries like that. So moving on, we'll talk about his legacy, the legacy that he left. Machiavellian's name became synonymous with political cunning, though often misunderstood as promoting cruelty. He was a realist who valued strong leadership in chaotic times. He believed in strong leadership. You know, as a leader, no matter the situation, you have to show a strong will. You have to show the ability to survive, the ability to achieve your goal. According to Machiavelli, is what makes a leader. No matter what, no matter the cries of foul play or cruelty or whatever, it shouldn't bother you as a leader. In Machiavellian theory, you should prioritize your goal, which is to protect your people, provide for them. You know, that is what should be your concern. That what should concern you more as a leader. His work influenced modern political thought, emphasizing practical governance over idealistic visions. Just like I mentioned earlier, most political ideologies or political ideas that we practice today, his work influenced it. I've cited an example with Israel and the US, for example. His work influenced shaped their political ideas and thoughts and how they practice politics in the world today. So Machiavelli is a strong philosopher of personality whose works has shaped politics as we know it today. So that will be the end of my slide. And thank you for paying attention. And if you have any further question, you can ask so that we can learn from each other. So that is all for me here. Any question on Machiavelli's principle?
Okay, back to our normal debate again. Now we are
Dennis is raising his hand, but he has a question.
Okay, first of all, when I wanted to talk earlier, I wanted to say exactly what happened. I wanted to say, please, can you finish so we can debate like one more?
Yeah, I'm done.
Secondly, I think that when we are presenting, it's also should ask a question, not you asking us a question. Because it's that's what
No, you can use any method.
Oh,
It depends
mind you, I'm Machiavellian now.
Now, the question you were asking, the question you asked when we were presenting, you asked us about what do we think about, what is the meaning, what is our understanding about the meaning of
The end justifies the means. Yeah, the end justifies.
the end justifies the means. And the teacher said something. He said when he was asking, he said we don't have to translate our first or second language to English. Maybe it doesn't work that way. I wanted to say to that I want to reply to the teacher that sometimes we think better. Maybe not sometimes, most of the time we think better on our own language. First language or native language than English. And in French, as I speak French, we say la French justifie les moyens.
French you are speaking, is it your language?
Yes, I can say yes.
It is your language.
Yes, because Cameroon is different from other countries. That we were
French
deeply,
is a colonial language. It's not
we
a
were
language.
deeply colonialized, sir.
Everybody was deeply colonized.
But Cameroonian, I will tell you that most Cameroonians speak French and don't speak their own.
But that does not make it your language. Come on. Are you so colonialized in such a way? Don't even know your
No,
language?
I'm telling you,
No,
the reality
French
is.
is don't drag another people's language from them. You are not a fan.
I'm not a French, but
It's
I'm
their
telling
language.
you what we are living.
You are
the reality.
colonized, but you say that is your language. No, it's not.
Sir.
Yeah, no,
sir,
it's just like you have the lingua franca, whatever. It's a second language.
Sir, if I tell you now that.
You don't need to tell me anything.
No, I'm just saying, it's a question. Actually, it's a
Right.
question. If
English is not my language. English is a second language. French is not your language, it's your second language. Don't insult our ancestors and
I'm not
those who
insulting,
created
sir,
you.
but I'm asking a question. If you were born and raised and it's only French you speak, what will you say about your language?
Anybody has a history.
That's what they did.
Anybody has a history. That I was born today doesn't mean that there's no history before I was born. And in philosophy we call it efficient cause. People were born before somebody was born, I was born, and then they born me. And there was a history. I didn't just come. That's why you're answering your surname. So the surname is generated from the generation of people. So it cannot just because of language now deny the fact, or maybe my child was born in Thailand.
That doesn't make him.
Then it now becomes his language Thai.
Okay, let's take that example. If you have a child in Thailand, not with a Thai.
That's not his language.
No, not with a Thai. And your child doesn't speak Igbo, he
Yeah.
speaks only
But it
Thai.
doesn't make him his language. It doesn't. That's why nationality is in Nigeria.
Okay.
And whether you like it or not, it's a
What is the
Nigeria.
language in Nigeria?
Then if you get to Nigeria, then you go to my language, which is Igbo language. Period. That's my language. Historically, pre-colonialistically. The one you're saying you're claiming what came in by some people who imposed it. So you cannot
So
tell me
they
that.
impose it and not me. They impose it to my parents.
Yeah, but
To my
they,
grandparents.
exactly.
And my parents.
But that doesn't make it your language. Your language is your language. This is just a second language imposed by the colonial master. It's not your language.
Yes.
Why are Cameroonian like this? For goodness sake?
So I think I
So-
kind of understand what he's trying to say.
No, there's no standing there. This is a
Sir,
political thing, and this is a
Yeah,
class.
it's a political thing.
There
but
is no
so in language,
understanding.
in language,
No,
there are
this is
certain
not
people.
lexical. I don't need that lexical.
There are certain people that this is their first language. You
The
cannot
first
take it away.
language doesn't originally.
There are certain people that.
No, it's not.
There are certain people
Okay, now
that
let's.
this language is
this
your
is-
first
this is
language,
my
whether you
class.
like it or not.
Yeah, this is my class. I can't.
So,
I
let's
can't
not
allow that
even
to
go.
continue.
my question.
I don't allow that
Okay.
error to.
Say
in my class.
So you are being political as well because
So yeah, because it's political statement.
I will tell
Yeah,
everybody
why.
you are being political as well. But the reality on ground is that there are people that their first language is not their parents' language. Their first language is a language of
Okay,
their
look at how you
providers.
presented it. That is not your parents' business
It's
class. We
language.
have already answered it. I beg continue.
Okay, I wanted to say something. What I want to say is
This
that
is
I
how
will say
Africans
two
think.
things.
Later we think
Because
we
I
are
want to
learning.
come to the main question about what we were saying.
Uh-huh.
What I wanted to say, but before that, I want to say something. Even actually, right now, there's a debate in TikTok about American, African American, or Black American and Africans. Some American, Black American, they are saying that they are not from Africa.
They said it doesn't make it that you're not from Africa.
I think so.
Come on, we are here for an academic.
They say that the ancestors are not coming from Africa.
Hello,
Yes,
this
sir.
class is not business class. We are here for an academic debate, and my field is philosophy.
Okay.
The question is the fact that they stood up to say it, does that not mean they are not from Africa? I ask you. You can't change it.
For me, they are from Africa.
You can't even change it. The whoever created the world, whether it's God or supernatural, made everything the way it is. You can't change it. I mean, whether you believe it or not, you imagine Obama and whatever. At the end of the day, they will tell you where you're coming from. Originally, whether you have forgotten or not.
Yes, sir, but on the other side, when they bring up some justification, for example, like before Christopher Columbus went to discover America, there was already black people there.
Black people are Indians.
No.
Go and,
Even the
please
Indian
go and
people,
consult
there
us.
was
You are
black people.
listening. Ask your question, let's continue. Let's go and consult your
Even in
history.
Japan, they say there was black. So my question is, okay, let's come to my question. My
We
question
need to
is,
read, brothers. I beg.
You went far by trying to define exactly the meaning of what is moral or what is immoral. According to me,
According to you, who are you?
me,
Then
because
yes.
I'm the one who said it.
Academically, who are you?
Say your opinion.
You can say your opinion there.
Okay,
But according to you, you have not done any
Okay,
research.
sorry.
And you have not even published anything. And you say, according who are you? And academic, can you say according to me? Or other people will say according to you. Come on, this class.
Sorry, sir. Sorry.
My class, that's why I try to drag you guys Africans to make sure you don't make my class a business class with our African mentality. Who are you? According to you.
Okay, in my opinion.
Simple. In my own view.
Yes.
In my opinion.
I think. These are the words, not according to you. Who are you?
In my opinion, I think I say that some Machiavelli, some Machiavelli thinking is not right because
It's not right. You can't say that.
no, I said in my opinion.
But in
In my thinking.
academic presentation, you cannot use that word. It's not right. Because you're
Well,
not
you
the
can say you
judge.
disagree.
You can say you dissent. You cannot say that it's not right because you're not a judge. Who made you the judge? Is it according to you?
Right or wrong.
But yeah, these are things you guys will learn if you want to learn. I bet you guys, you're just getting a paper here in the name of master's degree. When you meet students who are master's degree, when they stand up to talk, you see the difference. I bet you. Even in exams, you guys pass. Isn't that this the paper, this class that is it class, another class, after you take exam again, master's degree. So there's nothing that is not right. Don't use that word in a class debate. You can use another way. I dissent. I may disagree. In my own reflected view, I may like to differ. Because when we learn all these things in class, we stop quarreling among us. The mentality is here, very difficult to correct. And that's why we step on each other's toes. And that's why we always insult each other. And that's why even myself as a lecturer, most of you step on me, thinking that I'm stepping on you, because the respect is not there. We think respect is when you say, sir, okay, sir. In the shouting, sir. There's another thing that make me my stomach tumble. Because when it has to do with the real respect, you see that the person doesn't have respect for you. It's a kind of a nomenclature. And no one's already gotten. But when it has to do with respect, you see that the person doesn't have respect for you. My dear Africans, please, if you want to study, study. We can be better. We can be better. Not all the time talking and looking at the leader. African leaders, this, African leaders, come on, give me a break.
I'm thankful.
Can we be like master's degree students if we
I'm
want?
thankful for the
I'm talking to everybody, not you.
Yeah, but I'm thankful. I'm thankful because we learn every day. We do not stop learning. So thank you for the reminder. I was saying that some okay, some ending or some goals to achieve, some achievement, sometimes acts it sacrifice. You took example during your presentation. You took example of Israel.
Continue, you're wasting our time. Look at, you have spent so many time.
You took example of Israel by saying that Israel are using the Machiavelli. You say Israel are using the Machiavellian theory. And I wanted to ask, do you think that what Israel is doing is right?
You've answered yourself. It's not about right or wrong. It's not about being right or wrong, but what they're doing is they feel that this is the best way for them to survive. Because if they don't do it, other people they will be eliminated as well. So for them, this is how they know how to survive. So that's what they're doing. They have to do what they have to do to survive. Their end is survival. So how they survive is whether everybody's crying that it's immoral or is this, it doesn't concern them. What they do is they must survive. So you now asking, it's not asking whether it is right or not. It's subjective. It depends on who is asking. Some people will tell you that what Israel is doing is they are always trying to survive. Some people will tell you that. Some people argue that what they're doing is not right. It's wrong. You know. So it's subjective. It depends on who is asking. So you can't categorically say what they are doing is wrong.
Okay, by not
Next question.
bombing Palestinian, Israel will die or
Yes.
will finish.
Yes, the Palestinians will
This debate this question you ask now is debatable. It's subjective. You know, this thing there are some persons, some students that will disagree with you. Will tell you that. Okay, in Kali is already disagreeing with you already.
Let me just, from my understanding about what is said about it, their interests end is to survive. You understand? So that survival will justify the means of the survival. Whether they kill all the Palestinians or all they are living or whatever, or they subdue them with a way, is the price they have to pay for them to live. Because if they did not do it, they will eliminate Israel. Yes. So instead of them to go through their hands and they wait for the Palestinians to be eliminated, it's better they eliminate them. This is the theory.
This theory, let's Machiavellian theory. Then your opinion now.
So the people might be saying no for this because of emotion, because they will see people of Gaza begging for food, their city is brought down, everything is bombed down. So that is the emotion. If you leave Palestinians, if you say not do that, Palestinians will do it, and so other countries will. So the why they are afraid is because they are standing their ground to fight and make sure they are not survive. So that's I think that's
So survival is the goal. You know, on personal levels, on personal opinions, we might disagree with what they are doing, with their method. You know, so that is what Machiavellian philosophy is. You might disagree, but it doesn't really bother the person, the leader that is in charge of that goal. Your opinion doesn't really bother the person. What bothers the person is how do I survive? In this case, Israel surviving. How do I survive for them? You know, I mean, personally, if you ask me personally, I don't really subscribe to their method. You understand? Personally, I don't really subscribe to it, and I can give my reasons as well. Yeah, but that right now is not, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really count. Because then, they have to survive, you know. So that is is why for them they feel that what they're doing is the best thing to do for them to survive the hostile environment that they are in. So I don't know if anybody has any other question, so we can move on. Any question or contribution? All right. I don't think, in the absence of questions.
What we were saying before, do you guys can say you understood morality in context of Machiavelli? Do you understood his own morality?
Yes.
What do you understand his morality?
Okay. In a summary, is that I have to swallow something I want to swallow first. So instead of me to wait and die, it's better I kill what was to kill. I think that's it.
Okay, and in a summary, what is your understanding of Machiavellian ethics and politics?
I would say like you use your office to someone wants to make an issue.
Don't use my face. Use another example. In your own example. Create your own example because that's also master's degree. Because very soon now, when all of you start to submit your independence talk and begin to have problem. Because I understood that most of you think that this class attendance is master's degree. This is just workers' load. So you have to learn to start creating argument by yourself. So just use your own argument. Because that one is my own. Because if you use another person's argument, you may misrepresent it.
Let me say, for me to, instead of me to allow you to destroy the work that I'm putting in, maybe, okay, let me use house as an example. I'm building a house, you understand? And you as an engineer coming to work for me, and in the process of working for me, I noticed that the work that you're doing is not okay. Like the material you are using is substandard. Yes, it's substandard. You don't think about it.
This is about leadership. This is about you being in charge.
Okay. Let me use another example. Let me use another example. As a team leader, as a team leader in my office, in my organization.
Yes.
So, taking you people to road to go and do, okay, as a road safety officer and as a team leader also, taking my team people to road to go and clear obstruction. And in the process of clearing that obstruction, we are there, okay, the reason is to go and clear the obstruction. And if anything happens, I should be the one to hold responsible as a team leader. And in that process, you as a team member, you are not doing what you're supposed to do. For me not to be bothered or for me not to be punished in regards to not clearing the obstruction, I have to maybe first of all clear you out of the way. Even if to kill you, even if to even beg you to resign from the job, I will do it for me to achieve that my goal. I don't think I get it.
Yes, you understand.
Oh my God, that is harsh. Okay, so next question. Mano, I mean, have you?
Okay. What's your question?
The question is, what do you understand?
Okay, so, Mba.
So, I'm the elected governor of Imo State. And as part of my project to commercialize the state and make it the present hub of Nigeria includes demolishing an existing area meant to be homeless people and beggars and meat sellers and all that at the moment. So when I
time.
You already spoke.
Okay, you spoke already. No.
So let's
The question is, well, what do you, in your own view, what is
What do you
morality?
understand by
Yes, like,
No,
what is your view on morality according to Machiavellian's philosophy?
For me, I would say morality is a principle in which many people or people can recognize, most people can recognize themselves as a good
In relation to Machiavellian's,
not the definition of morality. If that is according to Machiavelli, what do you understand by is morality? What is his own view of morality?
Okay, according to him, I may say morality, my understanding of Machiavellian morality is a way, depending on the certain situation that we are facing, we choose the better way to solve the problem at the roots before it can be a great problem that we cannot control.
okay. So I think we are done answering the question. I don't know if you can call it time.
Okay. So, in other words, can you go? Let me summarize from the first slide. Okay. Look at what we are talking about. Niccolò Machiavelli was an Italian diplomat, philosopher, and political theorist born in Florence. He is considered the father of modern political science, and living during the turbulent Renaissance period, his experiences shaped his pragmatic views on power and governance. Hello, are you there? Machiavelli separated politics from ethics, promoting a realistic view of political power. Remember, realistic here means Thomas Hobbes, they are the same group. So that you will not use the realistic here as English realistic. Okay. He argued that rulers must sometimes use immoral methods to maintain stability and control. Remember, immoral here, you have to investigate. What does that mean? He emphasized that the ends often justifies the means, a view now termed that Machiavellianism. They call it a manipulation of the consciousness of the simple mind. Manipulation of the consciousness of the simple mind. That is a Machiavellian principle. Okay, now, as a prince is a guide for rulers on acquiring and maintaining power. That is the book he wrote. And in that particular book, and then he tried to tell us that you better to be feared than loved. Who cares about love? You won't last. When people love you as a leader, only in Africa you hear that. That's our poor thing. You won't last. Because they are once you are being loved, you are being used. That is what you mean. Once you are ever, just like all of you here, try to love me and then clap hands for me. Then it means that definitely I must be, something is wrong. Otherwise you wouldn't. That is what he's trying to say. Better to be feared than loved. Because you can progress. A ruler must be both cunning and strong. You know that very well. Strategic management. Strategically you create things. Even the people that you are ruling, they will start to think you are the best. But you not tell it already that this is just for you to use them and do it happens here often in Thailand. In Thailand's situation, sometimes most of your working must have experienced it in Thailand. You might tend to report somebody in Thailand's situation as an African. You might tend to give a report as an African. But Thai people, I think, they are not looking at that, they are looking at the television. This is just saying, what does they, where do they add or get something? So, that is why you must be cunning when you're talking to an average Thai person. Not only in Thailand, any country that knows what they're doing, that thinks about the interests of the country. You're talking to them, they're looking at the national interest. If this thing you're talking, how does it add to their national case? Appear vicious even if not. Yeah. Look as if you are a good type. I've explained that before. Prioritize stability over morality. Because morality doesn't count. Yeah, you're a very good person. Who cares? At the end of the day, what matters is that you are successful. And what matters is that people still respect you because you can use money to buy them. What matters is that you can feed yourself and feed a family and take good care of every other thing. At the point you are very poor, at the point that you are now removed as a leader, you find out that people following you are not even following you. They were following position. So that is why, understanding that context. So when you now concentrate on maintaining your own position, sometimes I tend to think that this man is actually a saint or a prophet in a way we put things in the context of human nature. Yeah, they are very realistic. You may be getting carried away with people who praise you. Come on, give me a break. Let there be a problem. Let there be a tension. Let there be a situation. You will know the real person. Both me and both you, we are like that. That's what he's saying, human nature. Very dangerous. Machiavelli saw leadership as a practical endeavor. The ruler's goal is to secure and stabilize the state. Yes. Remember what I said earlier? Why he does all this is because he wants you to be there and protect the people. Because if you start taking care of taking care of Emmanuel, taking care of the Dennis separately, sorry for you, you are gone. And I bet you, most of you maybe are not into leadership. If you are, you will understand this man if you read him very well. It's about the nature of humanity, not about anything else. Politics is about reality, not ideals. What was, not what can work, but what you see today. Leaders must adapt and use any necessary means. Yeah. I want to be the Prime Minister, but Emmanuel is my problem. Then I have to make use of my guys to get him assassinated. Once he's assassinated, I don't have any other fear. I'm really vibrant candidate because he's gone. You get that? Then being gone, you not in a Christian way say that something bad has happened, right? But in his own sense, no. What had happened is that Emmanuel would have been a leader that would have killed many people, would have done so many things bad. So my duty is not to eliminate him. So I've done something good to the state. By eliminating him and becoming the one, because I'm in the sense. Effectiveness over ethics. So that is it. That's exactly what I explained now. Okay? Machiavellian name became synonymous with political cunning through, though often misunderstood as promoting cruelty. He was a realist who valued strong leadership in chaotic times. You need, just like Fox, Leviathan, you need someone strong. His work influenced modern political thought, emphasizing practical governance over idealistic visions. Finished?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there was no conclusion. Okay, so any question? Okay, thank you very much as we end it in that way. Thank you, thank you, thank you.